So I was talking to somebody recently and we were talking about sex and I had mentioned to them like coming up in April, it'll be a year since the last time I had sex. And I was explaining to him like it's very easy. And it's funny, like I had logged into my personal Instagram today, right? And one of the first posts that I seen coming up on my timeline was a post about how Maya has not had sex in 7 years. And I can firmly say, like, it is super easy not to fuck. Especially in the climate in this batch of niggas that we got. And I'm not even being funny. Um, I can honestly say, like, biologically, there are times, especially like when it's around my cycle, I be feral as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Ovulating, going through the motions, wishing I could hop on some shit. But that phase, it passes, right? Those are just my hormones going crazy at a moment. However, overall, there is nothing that prompts me to really want to be in proximity to a man in a way where we're being physical like that. And the reason why I say that is because I'm on a site where I talk to men on a daily basis, men who are interested in me, men who just find me cool, whatever the case may be. And the consensus is that a lot of them do not respect women. A lot of the times when we get in conversations with men, one of my biggest questions to all of them is, what do you like or love about women that doesn't directly benefit you? And the amount of silence that follows that behooves me, right? Also within these conversations, right? There's a situation where I might go live and we could be in there having a discussion. And one of my rules in my live is to not to refer to women as females or bitches, right? Because I believe that we can have a smart and productive conversation without hurling insults. And if you cannot conduct yourself in that particular kind of way, then there's nothing for us to talk about, right? So I was actually having a conversation with a young man yesterday, and seemingly he was super cool. He was from Detroit. He was on there popping shit with his big, with his big old bear coat, as he liked to call it. He had his little what do they call them? He had his buffs. He had his pinky ring. He was on there popping it. I'm not gonna lie. And within this conversation, I told him not to use the word bitch and female. No soon after that did he say the word bitch about 6 times, talking about, a woman that he used to deal with in his past and also other women. And I said, okay, you got one more time. Now, I think he thought I was playing because, like I said, the conversation started out super great. Like, I'm super personable. That's the one thing about me. I'm super personable. But I also have my boundaries, right? And I also believe that if you're going to be coming in my space, you're going to have to just talk a particular kind of way, because I'm not in here degrading you or men like you. I'm just here having a conversation. So he did it one more time and I kicked him out of the box. And I said, at the end of the day, a lot of men hate authority when it comes to women. When you set up any kind of like boundaries or requirements, when it comes to having access to you, a lot of men will push those buttons. And instead of saying like, damn, this is a woman of respect, she just wants me to talk a particular kind of way, I'm not going to do anything to violate her. They see how they can continue to do it, and they do it in a very sly and slick way. Like I said, he wasn't talking about me. He was just talking about other women. But what he didn't realize is that I'm still a fucking woman at the end of the day, and I'm not going to other myself just because you are in my space. You're going to conduct yourself a particular kind of way, or you're going to have to get the fuck. And I gave an example of, maybe a man being in court, right? A man goes to court and he knows that he can't use particular kind of language when it comes to talking to a male or a female judge. However, because you are just some regular woman on the street, he doesn't feel as if he needs to grant you the same respect. And that's where the issue is. Now, listen, at the end of the day, he don't have to do a fuck thing that I want him to do. My boundaries are for me and not for him. Y'all have to understand that. You can put up as many boundaries and requirements as you want. It's not my job to have to pacify a man or to have to hold his hand through a conversation and say, don't you do that. Don't you do that. what you articulate to me is that you are a child who does not know how to listen, because adults know how to follow simple instructions, right? But because he already had this disdain towards women, there was no way that he was going to sit in my life, some woman who he's never met before, and have any kind of general respect for me. So he got the fuck up out of my box, and I blocked him. Needless to say, I know I get on here and I pop a lot of shit about niggas all the time. I get on here and I pop shit about niggas all the time. But guess what? I have a balance. If you were to see my For You page, you would see that it is littered with a bunch of different men that I respect. I've already said that I follow Mr. Wilson. I follow Belief. He's a family dad. I follow Deontay Kyle. He's more like a like, my speed and shit like that. He be cussing up a storm, and he uses profanity and stuff like that, but he's still respectful. Who else do I follow? I follow Kiera Gaines. Like, there are men of respect who I follow on my timeline, regardless of how I get on here and pop it. I am the antidote. However, I believe that the men that I just mentioned are a part of the cure. They're a part of the cure of helping me heal some of the internalized misogyny that I have, or I don't even like to call it misandry, but some of the wounds and some of the triggers that have, arose from me dealing with particular kind of men. And I see these men through having parasocial relationships with them, and I'm like, yo, damn, like, there are really men of respect out here. There are really men out here who, will treat women, children, and everyone in between a particular kind of way. So to me, I feel the same for, like, if I came across the man and he just had zero things to say about women. He isn't following any female political figures, activists, comedians, roundaway girls, content creators, whatever. If he can't tell me that there are any women on his timeline who he respects and who he sees as, somebody worth respecting, when he talks shit about women all day, every day, I can't fuck with a nigga like that. I can't, because like I said, as much as I get on this motherfucker and pop it, right? As much as I get on here and I pop it, at the same time, there are certain men where you just gotta respect them. And you ain't gotta respect them because they got a dick and balls in between their legs. No, you gotta respect them because they respect themselves, because they respect their platform, because they respect their friends and their family and their peers, because they respect their other parasocial relationships that they have with their supporters. You know what I'm saying? That's the shit that I'm fucking talking about. So, like I said, when I'm online and I'm having these different conversations with men, I'm realizing there's really a lack of respect. And that is what essentially keeps me from having sex. Because like I said, it's not that I don't want to. It's not that I wouldn't love to have it fucking often. However, there aren't many men of respect to be humping on. There aren't many men of respect who are then attractive to be humping on. So in that case, I'm just gonna keep my coochie to myself. I can make me come faster than any nigga can. Sure, sometimes do you feel like, I wish I had some company, I wish I could be laying up right now and all of those things? Yes, but again, that feeling passes. It really does not last for long. And I'm only speaking for me. It could be different for other women. It could be different for other people, because I'm pretty sure there are men who are refraining from sex as well, and they have their own particular reasons. Trust me, it's not rooted in religion and all of that other different. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Y'all already know I bang by my own moral code. I do what the fuck I want, as long as I'm respecting myself and I'm respecting others and I'm not impeding negativity on anybody's life. I do what I want. I don't give a fuck if I was fucking 10 niggas. That still would be my business, because I'm having safe and consensual sex with 10 men. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, I can't even find one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish there was an abundance and an overflow of men who are out here who respect themselves, who respect others, and who especially respect women and children. But there's not a lot. There's not a lot. And funny enough, like, niggas be cool. Niggas be cool. Niggas be alright. Niggas be cool to kick it with, laugh jokes and da da da. But as soon as we start talking about particular topics, I'm telling you, that shit goes out the window. These niggas are not really, I'm not gonna say, I would say this. A lot of them are likable, but a lot of them ain't fuckable. Right? Because you can have a whole different mindset than me, and I could still find you to be likable. But as far as somebody that I would want to share my bed with or share their bed with, I don't know. No. No. This is why y'all gotta understand, like, dating is for data. Dating ain't for, it's not meant for you to be out here fucking a bunch of different people. And I'm not here to be chastity police and to tell you that you should just keep your pussy to yourself, because sometimes you gotta urge it or you gotta itch and you need to scratch it. Who the fuck am I to tell you that you shouldn't? However, you have to, if you're tired, I'll put it like this. If you're tired of running into people who genuinely don't respect you, who just want to use you for your body and shit, if you don't mind using them for theirs, well, it is what it is. But if you want to be valued for something more than just being a fun time to somebody, and you would hope that you would be giving your body to someone who has just a general respect for people overall, whether it be, their gender, color, creed, religion, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a lot harder for you to then go out here and share your body, because I'm telling you, the surplus of men out here who are making it painfully hard just for them to just be likable. It's gonna be a little run, babe. it's gonna be a little run. And I know the next person I have sex with, like, I'm gonna turn that nigga every which way but loose. For sure. The longer I go, the nastier the thoughts get. I'm not gonna hold you. So, I come across the man, and you know what's crazy? This is just bare minimum shit. This is bare minimum shit. You know how hard it is to come across a man who doesn't refer to women as females and bitches? It's so hard. It's so hard. And it's not, and listen, I'm not like a stickler to the point where a man can't say, like, yeah, I was dealing with a woman and she was acting like a bitch. That's something completely different than just labeling her a bitch. And listen, I know sometimes bitches be bitches. You know what I'm saying? You end up in a situation where you've had an ex, you've had a boss, or whatever the case may be. And listen, the word bitch ain't even really gender specific for real. But like I said, when you just you driving it home, like, this is just your language, that's just how you talk about women overall who, probably rubbed you the wrong way or that you didn't like, now I gotta get you the fuck up out of here. Because there's a whole lot of other different adjectives that you can use to describe somebody. You know what I'm saying? Other than calling them out their motherfucking name or everything but a child of God. So, anyhow, if you've been on a journey, don't think that you're you're any different from any other set of women out here. There is an abundance, or if you're a guy listening to this, there is an abundance of people who have just refrained from the sexual experience just because they realize, like, I don't want to just be trading bodily fluids with somebody who I generally think would be trash. Just having a regular conversation with them, like, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? That's why I haven't probably drank since the beginning of December. I'm not gonna drink until my birthday, but this is why, like, you shouldn't just be, letting down your inhibitions and drinking with men on the first day. You shouldn't be letting down your inhibitions and smoking with them, because, all of those things are just like social buffers that make situations a lot more interesting than they actually are. Be sober around a man and have just a conversation with him about anything, and watch the misogyny eventually get to spew out of his pores. It's really hilarious. It's super hilarious. But anyway, yeah. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys today. I'll see you on the next one.